With no time like chicken pox, leaving the whole game cut short like ankle socks. Regrouping in the booth, the flock's most tranquil spot. Hitting you with something new, cause yo, we through with the same old block. As we huddle around the bamboo like campfire. Dropping the urban news to the youth as it transpires. Lay it out, wall to wall, dog, like empire. To all y'all, let's have a good year like them tires. Or fall off like DePaul when they lost Ray Myers. Cause few can do this like the Marines who train snipers. Professional hitman slash prolific writers. Third low rap or leaving bust that ass in the cipher. So many deliveries killing me like Kennedy's driver. But the remedy is to eliminate the frauds and the liars.
Yo, what's up? This is Set It Up Production, and we're talking Bulls. This is Chi-Town Bulls. I got my man Jeremy in the building. Tim, what's up, guys? What's going on? Well, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I forgot to take y'all off mute. Hold on 1 second. We good now.
What's up? How you guys doing out there?
Doing good. How about everybody else?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm glad the season is back, man. I was a rough baseball season for the Cubs and Sox.
You can say that again, man.
Yeah, we won't talk about it.
Right. So I couldn't wait till the Bulls season began. When the training camp started, I'm like, finally. Even though we got the Bears playing right now too, which is I really don't want to talk about them yet neither. So, but the Bulls are back.
I would love to talk about them, but that's another show, another time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, we talk about the Bulls, man. I mean, they back. They started. They had a game yesterday. They played against the Pelicans. They lost, but I wasn't looking for them to do much but work out kinks and try to see what fits, what went, and all that. You guys saw the game yesterday. What you guys was thinking? What was your thought process when you saw the game? Did you like what you saw? Did you didn't like what you didn't like? We'll start with you, Jeremy.
I gotta say I'm glad basketball's back, right? Good thing the season's starting just around the corner. Like you said, I wasn't looking for anything special other than I do kind of want to see them start off fast. They always kind of start off slow in the first quarter and second quarter, and then they pick it up, like kind of like they did yesterday. Again, the Pelicans look good. We can always talk about that too. But the Bulls wise, like you said, nothing really much. Let's get their feet under them. We'll see who's going to start, knowing that Lonzo's out. So, we'll see. Let's let them get their legs under them. Let's see what they do. But, yeah, really didn't look for much just to see them out there and healthy together.
What about you, Tim?
I was just happy to see him back, bringing back the core unit and adding on some new pieces to strengthen the squad was good. And I'll say one thing, though, if we can get Vujacic to play like that all year long, we're going to have us a great season because he came out playing defense, going down to the post instead of kind of, lagging at the three-point. He made it a point to get down there and start working on it. And like I agree with Jeremy, it was just, nice to see them get their legs underneath them and to see what this team has, So I wasn't expecting no, blowout victory, nothing like that. But just watching them play yesterday was, again, I agree with Jeremy, is they got to start off a little faster.
Yeah, I think because we're not gonna get too depth into it because it's preseason, but we still got to talk about some things that happened in that. So I wasn't expecting much. I wanted to see the players I wanted to see in the starting lineup. I wanted to see how the starting lineup was going to be, which was Ayo and Patrick Williams, and both of them was more like it's like they were just coasting. And to me, I still think Patrick Williams still look a little bit lost. Yes. Like he don't know when to take the shots. He don't want to step on the one's toes or whatever. What's your thoughts on just seeing Patrick Williams the way he played yesterday? What you guys saw?
Well, go
ahead.
Oh, well, that's exactly the good point there. Right. It seems like he's starting off slow. You want him to blossom into not really look at DeMar and look at Zach to kind of see if it's my time. You kind of want him to kind of take over. You haven't seen it yet. He has been working with DeMar in the offseason, so hopefully he kind of starts to show that. And they give him a little bit of confidence as well to say, hey, young man, take over because this is going to be your team. As much as Zach is, young and just got that big contract and you have DeMar still, Patrick Williams is the future of the Bulls. And the way he goes, I believe, is the way we go as a team because he is very special. A very special athlete. So he could do a lot of things and guard a lot of positions, but he's got to take that role. And you're right. He kind of looks hesitant right now. And that kind of scares me.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
It's his year. Year 3 of Patrick Williams. We'll let the first year go by. He was a rookie, so he's just getting into it. Second year, you kind of, figure a sophomore slump deal, but we'll be in the third year. He's got to come out and sometimes take the reins because you're going to be looked upon. Because if DeMar's having a bad night or Levine's having a bad night, you got to be that third guy to step up to put the points on and to help be the leader of this team. And watching it last night it's game 1 of the preseason. We're not going to hark on it too much, but he did look lost at times. Like he's had quite a few times had an open jump shot and he chose not to take it. And it's like, you got to take those come game time.
Right.
We need you to take those shots because we know you can hit them. We've seen you hit them before.
Yeah. I have confidence in yourself.
Hey, right. You know what I mean? That's where it starts. And I think that he's got to have that confidence to say, okay, hey, like Jeremy said, again, this is going to be his team in the future. DeMar's not going to be around too much longer. Levine, he signed that big deal, but dude, you're only 20-something. You're 23, 24 years old. You're the future of this team. And we need you to produce like that draft pick we chose you for.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So that's what we're looking for in year 3. You know what I mean? So we're hoping we get a big year out of Patrick Williams, which would be big for us, period.
And by you guys saying that this eventually will be his team, because I'm thinking when Zach's contract ends, if they don't win by the time his contract ends, he's going to go home to LA. I'm thinking he's going to play with the Lakers because that was his dream to do anyway, to play with the Lakers. So I think Ayo and Patrick Williams, they have to play up to par. You know what I'm saying? And I think yesterday it was more like just not again. But to give him think about it, when he first came, it wasn't no training camp because all the COVID and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying, played a part in a shortened season and everything. Then the following year, last year, it was more of he got hurt within the first five games or whatever.
Yeah.
And was out the majority of the season. This year he had a full year of being able to practice with DeMar DeRozan this year. And I saw him in a couple of camps and a couple of other scrimmages where he looked pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, like I said, he get it together. Because we definitely going to, for this team to roll, even though we need Ball, we definitely need him too because he's the only power forward on the team, the true power forward on the team.
Well, and I hate to say it. I mean, if we're waiting for Ball to come back, we're kind of in trouble anyways. I mean, we need Williams to step up so it looks that Ball, the loss of Lonzo Ball doesn't look as big as it is. Now, I believe, like you said, with him and Ayo, you have to have them both kind of grow together. And I truly, truly believe this is a come out year, even though last year, Ayo was not to be slept on. I believe this year he steps out of his shell a little bit more, especially with Lonzo Ball being out in the beginning of the season. I believe this is perfect for him. I mean, because when Lonzo Ball does come back, you're not expecting much out of Lonzo Ball, which we'll get into him later because I have my own thoughts about that. But you also give him that time to kind of say, hey, this is your team. As your point guard, you have to control us. So with him out there, hopefully working with Pat Williams, that now they kind of have that rapport where they're both growing together and they take over the team. And with Terry, another young star that can be something. I mean, this, like I said, you always got to think about the future. Even signing Zach, and you say, yeah, Zach's part of the future, but we all know Zach can't be that number one by himself to carry this team. He just can't. So, like I said, I'm rooting for Williams because I always liked him first year. I believe his first year was better than his second year. Because it just looked at first year, you kind of saw something. You saw raw talent. like you said, coming off that shortened year, you still saw raw talent coming from him, and you're like, okay, he can grow into something. Now we're kind of like, well, let's see it. Let's not. We gave him a year. He got injured, but now we want to see something.
Right.
If we're going to put our stock into you, we have got to see something this year, and that's how I feel.
What you got, Tim?
No, I agree to everything my brother said. It's just, us as Bulls fans, like, we all some of us questioned the draft pick that year when we drafted him, but then he showed glimpses in that first couple of games of that rookie season. You saw something in this kid and was like, okay, this is nice. Then all of a sudden it kind of like he disappeared in the limelight, and it was like, well, what's going on? He looked timid. Going into last year, yeah, he had the injury and stuff, but then when he came back, it kind of looked like he was just trying to transition himself back in the shape, and it just took too long. This being a full year, you were healthy. You've worked with DeMar DeRozan. You've had a full offseason. You've gone through training camp. This is what we want to see. We want to see the full potential of Pat Williams now. Can you be that guy that in games, if DeMar's having a bad night and Levine's having a bad night, we need you to be that third guy that's going to step in and be able to help that out, because now you're dealing with teams are going to come into Chicago, and if all three guys are clicking, they're going to be like, man, how do we stop these three guys? Because now the Bulls have added on pieces with Ayo and other guys that now can step into that role and be like, now we can do what we need to do, and it just makes them that more dangerous. But it starts with Patrick Williams to say, hey, this is my time, this is my year, let's get it going.
Well, and just listen to what y'all are saying, and what you just said, Tim, that his first, I think you or Jeremy said his first year was better than his second year.
Yeah,
Jeremy said it. Yeah.
But here the deal is his growth at a standstill because you brought in DeMar DeRozan and you brought in Vooch.
I believe so. And now this is my theory. I really believe that his second year, the reason that it kind of looked as bad as it did is because the first year it was Zach, and then you had, Vooch coming in, I think at the end of the year last year, correct?
Right.
And then he kind of is like, okay, to roll. Then the next season you add DeMar DeRozan, okay? Then he kind of sees this, he's young, he's going to learn from these guys, but he sees DeMar, his whatever you want to say, his popularity in Chicago grow as the season goes on. Now, when he comes back, hey, he's the third or fourth wheel. No second or third. Now you're the third or fourth, and you got to find your way. The great thing about DeMar is he takes you under his wing. I don't expect Pat Williams to be like they said and come out to be a Kawhi Leonard, right? I expect him to be like a Harrison Barnes. I believe him. That's the kind of, power forward, small forward I need. I don't need someone who's going to come out there and give me 25, 10, and 5. I need someone who's going to give me a good 18, give me 10 rebounds, and play defense, right? And that's kind of what we're looking for. And he doesn't have to put it all on his back because you have Zach, you have DeMar, and then you have Vooch, you have Drummond in the back. I mean, you have players on this team. So you don't have to have all the pressure, but you got to show that you are capable of being that starting, power forward / small forward for us.
And I think also, I mean, there's no pressure because he got good players on the team. So jack up a couple of shots.
Yeah,
it's no bad shots. You know what I'm saying? Because you got players that is going to root you on and want you to do those things. It'll be different if you're playing with a LeBron James. Everybody wants you expecting you to go to the championship. They're expecting the Bulls to do what they're doing right now. So get his feet up under him and go ahead and do what you got to do. What you got, Tim? You can go to the next week, hit these tad bits.
I think that we've seen glimpses of Patrick Williams on what he can do. Hence that game against last year against Minnesota where he dropped 30 some points. And we didn't have Levine, we didn't have DeRozan playing, but you've seen what he's capable of doing. And he was playing against still Anthony Edwards and them. So you're still going against stars, and he's capable of doing it. Like Jeremy said, 18-10 and play some defense. we're not asking you to go out there and drop 30 a night, you know, and we're asking you to be that guy that we can know that in times we're going to go to you and have that confidence to say, hey, I'm going to take this shot, or hey, get on my back and let's go. You know what I mean? So, but again, he's got guys around him that are going to make it easier for him. You know what I mean? We're not expecting that, hey, this is your 3. We need you now.
I
you know
believe,
what I mean?
I believe as a fan base of Chicago, we give the Bulls a little less grief as everybody else. I mean, like Sox, Cubs, and Bears, right? Because out of Bears, we expect a lot. This is a Bears town. I mean, we ride or die with them, right? So we kind of expect something faster. The Cubs and the Sox, we just want to see good because there's so many games, right? Like we don't want to watch 162 of trash. But the Bulls, we just expect you to compete. You know, we know the KGs are out there, or the Kevin Durant's out there, and the LeBrons are out there, and all these teams. But we want you to compete, right? We give our Bulls a little bit less grief than we do the rest of our fan base, and that's because we love the Bulls. Like the Jordan era made us love the Bulls. The Rose era made us come back and love the Bulls. We just want to see competitive basketball out of Chicago Bulls. And that's honestly, that's what I expect as a Bulls fan.
Hey, we could just stop that right there. He just summed it up right there.
Easily.
So if he can do something, like I said, if he can give us that hope where we're like, yep, we can see this. We're not expecting a miracle turnaround right now. Like, we believe that we can be in the playoffs. We believe that we can compete with this team with the right pieces that come with Lonzo Ball coming back, with adding Drummond. I believe we added some of the right pieces, but we have to see it, right? We just want to see it come together. And right now, this preseason, like I said, yesterday was beautiful to watch because it's back. Bulls are back, baby. But hey, let's compete, because with DeMar DeRozan, with Zach, and with all the other players that we have, there's no reason we shouldn't be in that top 5 to 1.
And by saying that, but bringing up, we mentioned Drummond and Terry and Dragic. Let's get and talk about the new addition that the Bulls picked up. You know what I'm saying? I want to start off first with Dragic, because I'm not expecting much from him, but when you heard the Bulls picked him up, did you think like, why, or did you think, okay?
I had a couple of feelings, right? I had, a nice addition, right? Because Gordon is not a bad point guard, right? He's been in the league for a while. He's been around some good teams, so he adds some veteran leadership that kind of helps with Ayo, I believe, because I don't think we knew about Lonzo when they made that pick, right? When they picked him up, Lonzo was still, at that time, we were thinking he's starting the season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when it first happened, I was kind of surprised to think, okay, where does he fit, right? Yeah, good leadership or veteran leadership. Is that what you bring him in for, or do you bring him in to play a role? And I think you kind of saw that as you heard of Lonzo Ball. I don't believe they had a mindset of him playing a lot, but I believe they do now, for a little bit, because of the Lonzo Ball whole thing that you like to call whatever he's doing. But I think that was the reason. My first initial reaction was, okay, what's the end all be all here for him? But then again, as you go along, you hear about Lonzo Ball. So yeah, I was a little bit thrown by the Dragic, but we'll see what he does.
If Ball don't get hurt or have this going on with him, do you think they still pick up Dragic?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think they have a need for a third. But like I said, I don't know. It's a good question, because you're right. If Lonzo Ball is healthy, do you necessarily need him taking up a spot? Because you have Zach who can dribble the ball, you have DeRozan who can take up the ball. So do you necessarily need a third point guard?
Go ahead.
I think they did, for the simple fact of when they made the deal to get him, I thought, okay, maybe they're moving Kobe White for something. They still got Kobe White, but I was happy with the move, because I think one of the things the Bulls lacked on their bench last year was scoring. They didn't have enough guys to come off the bench that could put the ball in the basket. And Gordon Dragic is a guy that can do that. he can give you 10 to 12 to 15 off the bench. He's a good shooter. Like you said, he's a smart point guard. He's a savvy point guard. He can facilitate. And I think that, like you said, Jeremy, they didn't expect him to be, play all this time now with the whole Lonzo Ball ordeal. But I think it gives us a better scoring option off the bench because Kobe White had games where he would come in and be amazing lights out. And then we'd go through a 5-game spiel of this guy couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I still believe that Kobe White's going to be moved. I think somewhere down the line, it depends on the whole Lonzo Ball thing. I think that if they're saying Lonzo's going to be out for a long time, I think we may hold on to Kobe White. But if they say Lonzo's going to come back, I think Kobe White's going to be part of a deal to bring something in that we still may need.
Yeah, and get off the Dragic and what you just it leads me to the rookie we picked up, Terry. I think it all depends on him too, because now if he started to play like the way he looked yesterday in the game yesterday, if he continues to do that, it's more reason for you to we could trade, put a package deal to get White out of here. What we need is a backup power forward. Now I will trade him. I will not trade Kobe White for another guard.
No,
I gotta give me a backup power forward, just in case if Patrick Graham get hurt, or just in case Patrick Graham, let's put him to the back. Let him come off the bench. Let him be that main scorer off the bench with another squad. Because the rumor was that they was looking into getting the guy from Phoenix. What is his name? Crowder.
Oh, Jameson Crowder.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily put him in the starting lineup and let Patrick Graham come off the bench, and you bulked up your team like big time. So, but I don't want to get into that because that's not even neither here nor there. But Terry, the way he played yesterday, he came in with the energy. He came in with no fear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was going a little bit too fast a little bit, but he slowed it as the game went on. He slowed it down. So when they picked up him in the draft, I was like, okay, it's too many guards. I mean, now that they got Dragic, but then they had Terry. Like, there's a lot of guards going on right now.
It's a crowded bench.
It is. So, and I think the whole when they drafted Terry is we all kind of were like, we're hoping the Bulls would have grabbed the big man. Like that's pretty much what we were looking for. I was hoping for the kid out of Duke, Williams, because I think that kid's a stud. But when they jabbed Terry, I was kind of but then I saw him in the summer league, and then I saw him in training camp, and then just seeing him what he did last night, he's a guy that can come out and guard that 1 through 3 position. And he's got a lot of energy, and he's not afraid. Like you said, he was fearless last night, and he was fast at times. But when he came out and he played defense the first play he was out there, and they called that foul on him, I was like, oh wow, this is like the second coming of Io last year. This is a guy that is going to come in and give you an energy and play defense. You know what I mean? And you can see that he could score. You know what I mean? He can handle the ball because he was handling the ball that whole second unit in the fourth quarter. And it's like, okay, now I can see, why they drafted him and stuff like that. And he fits that build and it does put Kobe White kind of to the back to say, hey, and I agree, a backup power forward is what we need. We need another big body down there. And I think that may happen, but it all depends on the whole Lonzo Ball deal.
Gotcha. What do you think, Jeremy? When they got Terry and in the game that you saw yesterday from him, what was your thought process when they picked him up, and how did you think he played yesterday?
So I didn't know much about Terry before they drafted him, not going to lie, but which is weird to say right now that's going to come out of my mouth, but I have to trust the front office. And to be very honest with you, they have done nothing to make me feel like they don't know what they're doing. So when you see the draft they had last year with not having a first round pick to pick up Io as they did in the second round, which is a great pickup. I mean, I believe that was one of my favorite pickups from a draft that I can remember. I think the last one was the Bears, Roquan Smith, that I can honestly I was excited about. But it was something that I was like, okay, let's see what he does. And you kind of saw what he did. So when you pick up Terry this year, I have to say I had to kind of look him up. see who he was, where he came from, but I liked his makeup. I liked what I saw. At that time when they picked him up, I thought, yeah, Kobe White's out of here. This is pretty much the writing in the sand. But the problem with the Bulls is they never really talked up Kobe White. You know, everybody that you can tell throughout the season, they didn't even want him. So now you're trying to trade a guy that you don't even want. And that doesn't help his trade stock now, does it?
Yeah.
So right now, what I believe you have Kobe White. Now, I believe they probably took calls on him, but they didn't hear anything they wanted. So you have to keep him, right? You have to give him playing time. I believe Terry's going to lose some playing time because of this. That's why you're kind of seeing him a lot, because they have to trade Kobe White. So you're going to see him to try to get his stock to rise.
Right.
And I don't think he's a bad player. I don't believe he's a point guard. I believe he needs to come off the bench. He needs to be a little bit more like a microwave scorer. Be consistent, right? But like you said, I do like the Terry pickup. I believe that he is somebody there that is going to be helping us in the future. I just don't know how soon, because of kind of the way they have this roster looking. It's very packed on that bench, and who gets those minutes, right? Because you still have DeMar, you still have Zach getting all those minutes, and you have Vooch and all them. Who's going to get those minutes? And I kind of I'm gonna keep my eye on that this year and see how Billy does it. But it's gonna be very fun to watch this year.
Yeah, and because I didn't know nothing about Terry neither. Because when they got on, I was like, wow, what are they doing? Like, because I was thinking big too. Like, I wanted like a power forward to back up Patrick Williams. But then when I saw his makeup of his game or whatever, I was like, he's not a scorer. But when I looked at his whole build and everything, I remember you guys probably look at this after we get off here. His makeup, his body build now is like Penny Hardaway, 6'7", ball handle, not a scorer. But he said he could score, but that wasn't his job to do in college or whatever. Right. So his whole build, the 6'7", skinny guy, whatever. But Penny Hardaway, he did gain weight or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And became a hell of a player. Which
everybody does coming into the NBA, right? They want you to get bigger because you have to. I mean, like I said, this is different than college. This is a little bit more, and it is. I mean, we always say that. I never played college ball or NBA ball, but it's definitely different. You can tell. So you got to get your body up. I mean, everybody, even from Derrick Rose when he came in, he had to gain weight. Joakim Noah, he had to bulk up. And I believe Terry is the same kind of moxie. He's got to build up. And I believe his second year will be much better because he won't have Kobe White here. You probably won't have Lonzo Ball. I mean, I just don't know what's going on with him, if he's even going to last, right? So I believe that there's the future for Terry is bright, the future for the Bulls, and the way that this front office is putting this team together. Like I said, they did it in Denver. You know what I mean? Like, we have to look at where they came from. AK did it in Denver, and he built that from the ground up. And now look at them. I believe we are on that same track with him. We just got to believe in him.
Yeah. So, I mean, your last thoughts on Terry before we go into the next pickup the Bulls did, or we want to go straight to Andre Drummond? Tim?
No, I piggyback off what my brother said. I believe Terry is he reminds me of how can I put this?
Scottie Pippen?
Not so much a broke Scottie Pippen, but I'm gonna go. What the heck was that guy's name? He reminds me of a Sean Elliott from the Spurs back in the day. No fear, a guy that's gonna step up. He's a different version of Stevenson, not the weirdness, but a guy that's the energy. You know what I mean? He brings that energy that he's gonna bring it each and every night, not during the weird shit blowing in your ear, kissing people. You know what I mean? But he's that type of guy, and I think that's
a good comparison. I didn't think about that's a good comparison right there.
Really, you know what I mean? And I think like I said, it's like Ayo. Ayo had that chip on his shoulder last year, and he came in and he proved to the NBA, hey, I belong here. And I think this kid being drafted where he was drafted, a lot of us, again, didn't know who he was. We didn't pay attention, watching college ball. But when you see the highlights of him in Arizona, he's always there. He's always around the ball, playing defense, or he's constantly moving. And a lot of us as Bulls fans saw that last year. A lot of guys just not moving around, sitting around, just standing there. Yeah. And he's a guy that can give you that energy, that spark. And I think that's huge. You know what I mean? And I think that, again, I think that he's going to be playing a major role the next couple of years coming up here. But I think he has a big role this year, not right away, but I think later down the road of the year, he's going to be playing some serious minutes.
Yeah, once they get rid of the Kobe, I believe he picks up those minutes. But like I said before, you have to bring up Kobe's stock. Or you're getting rid of him. And this is a guy who, when we drafted him, was drafted kind of high, had some high hopes, was supposed to be a sharpshooter, and just didn't pan out. And he's not a bad shooter because he'll give you 30 a night. And you know what I mean? Like, Kobe White is not horrible. It's just where does he fit your team, and who needs a guy like that? To be very honest with you, I don't know many teams that need a Kobe White right now.
That year we should have drafted Colin Sexton.
Yes.
Yeah. But you got to also think about this too. Before Zach even came, because he had the ACL and he wasn't really playing. Kobe White was the man. I mean, you think about, by the time Kobe White came, he was playing good his first year. Yep. But then when you start adding pieces to it, he started to fall back each year. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't get better. Yeah.
His role changed. So, I mean, I don't think he's a bad player. I think his role is just diminished because other players came up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you got DeMar DeRozan came in, you got Lonzo Ball coming in, you got Zach LaVine playing full-time minutes. Now you got
Caruso.
It's just a lot, and I think he just fell out of love with the Bulls playing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, but we'll see what happens, because I said if they trade him, I don't want them to trade him for a guard or a small forward. We need a power forward. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need.
Right, and you have to, like I said, you have to get his stock to rise. And what's the word? If you can shoot, you'll find a home. Right? I mean, Ben Gordon did it for how long after he left? Like, you can find a home if you can shoot the ball. And I believe Kobe White will find a home somewhere. I just don't think the Bulls are it. I really don't. Like I said, I hope the best for him, because he is a Bulls draft pick, and you always hope for the best. But like I said, let's see, because it would be amazing if he finally comes out this year and says, you know what, forget the rumors, I'm just going to play ball. And he comes out and he gives us that kind of scoring off the bench. I mean, I welcome it. So if he has a great coming out and he wants to prove some point, hey, all's fine. Come on, prove it.
Yeah, but if he does that, do you trade him now? You know.
Well, here's the thing: is let's be honest with you. You kind of have to. You can't. Kobe White has no place here. It just, he really doesn't. He's coming on. I think he has one more year before he has to get paid, right? Yeah. So now you're kind of looking at that. So if he does good, you have to pay the man, and we got a lot of money tied up.
Right. And that's the thing, is he's, you know what I mean? Like, this is his contract year, and if you lose him at the end of the year to nothing, you know what I mean? So it's. I'm all in for, going to get my man John Collins from Atlanta.
To see how they start out. Again, you know what I'm saying? You kind of have to see how teams start out, and then how it plays out, who needs what, right?
Yeah. But I mean, and you said John Collins, but this brings us to the final piece, to the
big man.
Big man. Andre Drummond. Yeah, big man Andre Drummond. I mean, when they picked him up, actually, I wanted them to get him last year when he was out there. It's like when he left the Lakers, what I'm like, man, I want him to come to Chicago. He'll fit right in good. Before they even got Boots, I was hoping they get him, because I knew it was a big body that they needed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when the word got out that he came to visit Chicago, I was like, yeah. Then when he actually signed, I was like, thank God, because we needed somebody, a backup
rim protector,
right? But the thing is about him. They say he's not a rim protector. So when you heard that they picked up Drummond, what did you think? What were you thinking? Like, damn.
Tim, you want to take this one first, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one first. Let me tell you, when we got him, I thank the Lord above for it because we finally got somebody who's physical and can score around the basket and grab offensive rebounds. Don't get me wrong. Our guy last year, I forget his name. When we signed
Bradley.
No, Bradley's soft. He's got to go. The one we signed. He was Chloe's baby daddy.
Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson was great, but every time he got an offensive rebound, he couldn't put the bucket back in. So now we got a guy who's one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA, and he's young. He's 29, and he knows how to put the ball right back in the basket. And we saw it last night. He was going up to get and do that stuff. And I think that brings that physical mentality that all of us last year watched, that we saw, that we're like, the Bulls are missing this type of guy. Bringing in Andre Drummond this year, I was like, all right, good, let's go. But then they were like, oh, we brought back Tony Bradley. I was like, shit, here we go with this guy. But
I got something about him. I got something about Tony Bradley, but go ahead, keep on going, Tim.
But I thought that was one of the missing pieces of the puzzle last year was you didn't have a guy like Andre Drummond to be the backup to Vujacic, even though we had Tristan Thompson, who was great at times and did what he needed to do, the dirty work. But now we got a guy who can come off the bench and can grab 13 rebounds and put in 18 to 20 points off the bench down low. You know what I mean? And he plays good defense too. You know what I mean? So he's not really a rim protector, but he knows how to play the pick and roll real good because he shuts off the roll. Yeah. So I was happy with the Drummond move. That was one of my favorite moves this year.
Yeah. What you think, Jeremy? Go ahead.
Like I said, Drummond, I've always been a fan of his, especially when he was with Detroit. He kind of killed us. And so always a big fan of him. I'm not going to lie. I like the signing. I was not over the wall with it only because I believe I kind of wanted Cousins, to be honest with you. I believe he kind of showed himself this last year. I believe he needs a second chance somewhere, and I believe he's the big man that can score.
Second chance, third chance, fourth chance.
Yeah, but he at the end of the year, he showed very well last year. He said he wants to. I mean, he comes out and says he wants to show that he's a changed man. But let's go back to Drummond.
Go ahead.
Drummond is very key for this Bulls team. Like Tim said, we were a Bulls team that was getting bullied, right? And we didn't have no way to step up. And then you add Tristan Thompson, who we knew right from the back. Only thing he's adding to us is rebounds and maybe a rim protector. He can't score. He's not even that good. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a big fan of his. Put on a Bulls uniform, okay, but I still remember those Cleveland days. I'm sorry. And I couldn't get that out of my mind watching him. I could not get it out. And then you see some of the things he did, and you were just like, this is why you have no team. So I believe Andre Drummond is exactly what we needed on our bench to come off of there when Vujacic is being soft and can't do nothing, to kind of step in and say, okay, let me take some of this blunt. He can give you 20 points. He can give you 10 rebounds. And like Tim said, offensive rebounds are key. And he can get those, get them right back to the hoop and score. So that, I believe, was a great pickup for what you're trying to do for this team. You have Vooch out there, right? And you're like, okay, Vooch can give you everything, but you needed someone to give Vooch a breather and that could come in and still protect the rim. Not as much, but he's still a big body down there, right? You're not going to go and attack the rim like you did last year. And that's what I kind of see. So I was glad that they added a big man. I'm always excited to add a name that people know, so he's proven. And that's always good, because when you add guys like Bradley, they're not proven, and you kind of want to see what they can do. But yeah, I like the pick. I really do like the pickup, and I believe it's going to help them get better than what they were last year for sure.
I thought it was a good pickup on a lot of levels because Vooch is a free agent after this year. If the Bulls decide not to pay him to what he want to get paid, if Drummond works out, he could easily be that starting center that you don't have right now. If Vooch was to leave, you ain't got to go around and searching and picking up a deadhead. You know what I'm saying? He could actually come in and start, because he's a 3-time All-Star player.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Why he started going from team to team. I don't know what happened. What's going on with that? But
He was in
with
Detroit.
Yeah, he was in Detroit. But when he played with Philly last year, I thought they was playing good. Him and Embiid, he was giving Embiid a lot of time to rest or whatever. Soon as he goes to Brooklyn, Embiid tugging a lot of minutes. So he wouldn't get no rest or whatever. So I thought he was going to resign back with Brooklyn, but when he didn't and the Bulls got him, I was like, finally, we got this guy that I've been wanting them to get for the longest. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna do well with the Bulls. The game yesterday just showed me a lot that we was missing. Big setting picks, those picks that he was setting, big body. I think it's going to be good. Bradley is on his way. I think he's on his way out too.
Yeah.
I think from what I'm saying, you guys probably don't like it. I'm open for it, but you guys probably don't like it. Rumors is that Carmelo Anthony probably be the one they pick up when they release Bradley. They can't do nothing now. It's because Bradley just signed a contract, so they can't.
I'll take Carmelo. Without a doubt, I'll take Carmelo.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing: is what Carmelo's going to give you off the bench. And again, the Bulls are missing you. You got Gordon Dragic, you got Drummond, you got Carmelo Anthony, who's another guy that can give you 15 to 20 points in a heartbeat. And I think and Carmelo's a big body. He still can go down there and bang with people. Is his defense off a little bit? Yes, but I take Carmelo. He's that backup. So yeah, 3 and 4 that you need. Even though you got Javonte Green and Derrick Jones, but those guys aren't going to be guys that are gonna put the ball in the bucket all these times. You got a guy in Carmelo who has no fear to pull the trigger. So.
And he's on his last leg, so he's going to try his best to do what he can do. What he can do, you know what I'm saying? So when I put it up there, and a lot of people didn't like Carmelo, he's washed up. The guy still was averaging 13 with a team with LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? And to actually come, if he was to come to Chicago, it's about 5 or 7 years too late, but he's still usable. You can still. Would you rather have Bradley or Carmelo? End of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt, that's a simple. If you say Tony Bradley, you need to bury yourself in the sand somewhere and rethink life.
Well, to be very honest with you, I think you bring in a Carmelo Anthony because of not only what he can do, but because of the name, right? You have a Carmelo Anthony sitting on your bench, you're selling tickets anywhere you go. I mean, obviously, Bulls never had really that issue of selling tickets, but I believe you like Tim saying, you get a guy who will throw that ball at that rim. I mean, he's going to throw it up, right? Yeah. And in that second unit, we need guys to do that, because when you don't have the DeMar, when you don't have Zach, and they're kind of taking a break, you need somebody out there who you can say he's going to shoot, right? He's going to take those shots. He's going to give you points. And it's Carmelo Anthony, right? Let's say it. We wanted it from the Rose days, and he should have came. And he should have been here, and we'd have done some things.
He should have gave the middle finger to New York and say, "There you go,
dude." Yeah. I mean, come on now. He stayed in New York because of his wife at the time. That's why. But he should have came here a long time ago. Like you said, the star impact is gone. Right? We're not sitting here like, "Oh my God, Carmelo Anthony." But at the same time, you're saying we got Carmelo Anthony and not Bradley, right? So yes, your obvious answer is Carmelo Anthony over Bradley. Bring him on.
And that's what you want your bench to look like anyway. Your bench, I ain't gonna say it has been, but your bench, you want your bench to be those veteran guys that can maintain until your starter come back in, which Carmelo, Drummond, and Caruso will be able to do. You know what I'm saying? Along with the rookie or whatever. And imagine the ball come back. Oh man, I'm just looking at it. If ball come back like he was last year, Ayo, your bench, Ayo, Caruso, Melo, Drummond, and
Gordon Dragic, Dalen Terry.
Starting 5, yeah, that's a starting 5 anywhere.
Yeah, that's literally. I think they carry 12 on the bench. So if you can have those guys, and you can get rid of a Kobe White for a backup power forward, oh Jesus Lord, you got yourself a team. And I'm not saying you got to go out and get a Jamison Crowder, or you got to get, if you can get a legit power forward that can give us, 6 to 10 points and 5 to 6 rebounds, and again play some defense and just not be physical. You know what I mean? So we're not getting bullied anymore.
What's that one? I forget his name. He played for Philly. He played for Miami. Number 2, bald head. Played for Phoenix too.
Tucker.
Okay, so now let me tell you something about PJ Tucker. That man is getting paid, right, to play power forward in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And every year he is looked up to get picked up by a contending team to add that toughness. That's pretty much what he's there for. So I wouldn't mind a Jameis Crowder for that reason. You need some bullies on this bench. You need guys who are going to take that extra foul when needed. Show the people you're not going to push Zach and DeMar around here.
And forget we still got Javonte Green, and we still got Derrick Jones. You know what I mean? So
I believe Derrick Jones is another one I like him, but I believe he is not going to see a lot of playing time. And I believe
because he was the one from yesterday in game. He didn't come in. It's like the fourth quarter or whatever.
Yeah, he came to the fourth, and then he really didn't do much. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna bring this up, and I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I hope the Bulls keep the young Antetokounmpo, because that kid is a raw deal. And they say if he gets the coaching and gets into his own, they're saying that he's better. He could be better than Giannis. They're saying that the ceiling for him is out of this world. And they say he's never been like, he's never been taught like how to play the game. Like he knows how to play the game, but no one's ever worked with him. And like I said, you saw flashes last night when he drove the basket on that one and just muscled the guy out of the way for the layup. That's like his brother. You know what I mean? And if you can get that kid to give a glimpse, he's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And there could be your power forward, your backup power forward. But again, you got to work with this kid. You got to get this kid to understand, like I said, if he can show a glimpse, 1/12 or 1/10 or 1/9 of what his brother can do, Jesus Lord, that's something coming off the bench that you got to contend with. Because he was blocking shots too, and he's got some hops. And it was like, but again, he's just a raw talent that needs to be coached along the way to say, hey, I need you to do this, do that. And again, if he's another guy he can hold on to, and he could work in the offseason, he could work with a DeMar and all them, the kid could be something.
I don't believe he makes the team this year, though.
No, you stash that kid on your bench, and you don't let you don't let teams come after him.
Oh yeah, G League too. I believe they have some studs. Like I said, there's that overseas kid, that 7-footer. I forgot. I can't think of his name exactly.
Weshibam or something like that.
I believe he actually showed in the summer league. He's not bad. I mean, he's young. He's very, very young. But like I said, you give a guy a shot, you never know what he can do, especially in the NBA.
True.
Yeah. But I mean, what we're gonna do? We're gonna wrap it up, and like I said, we got a lot to talk about before the actual season starts. We break it down the players.
I thought we were talking about Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, we gonna get to that one. The thing is, right now we're gonna break down like 3 players at a time before the season start. Then when the season starts, we can get in and talk about the game itself. You know what I'm saying? So next go around, we're gonna probably get into Javonte Green, Ayo. We want to break down the bench first, and then we're gonna go to the stars or whatever. Talk about the game plan, what we think they should be doing or whatever. So once again, man, I'm glad you guys came on. Bulls are back. Bulls are back.
Yes, and as you can tell, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. We definitely got to talk about some more things. And like I said, we'll be back next week. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this Chi-Town Bulls with Jeremy and Tim. I'm Sid, and we out here.
All right.